Resign to save Nigeria's image. You have failed, former Senate President writes Saraki. Former Senate President and elder statesman, Senator Ameh Abute has called on Bukola Saraki, President of the 8th Senate, to immediately resign in order to save the image of the entity called Nigeria. Senate President Bukola Saraki Abute, who was president of the Nigerian Senate during the end of the Third Republic, in a thought-provoking letter addressed to Saraki and obtained by Daily Post on Friday, hinged his reason on the fact that Saraki had succeeded in turning the Red Chamber into a combat theater by protecting the abominable and despising truth. The Benue-born political leader lamented that the Saraki-led Senate also imported what he termed despicable autocracy and despotism into parliamentary engagements, hence the needless brawls between the Senate and the executive arm of the government. He also cited the recent suspension of Senators Ali Adum and Omo Agege as some of the few examples of Saraki's aberrational leadership of the Senate and the National Assembly. Abute declared, "This is the extent of your moral deficit, which has disqualified you from belonging or even leading an assemblage of honorable men and women." He advised the Kwara-born lawmaker to kindly eat the humble pie and take the exit door, having consistently failed to pass the integrity and morality test to continue to preside over Nigeria's parliament. The letter reads below. "Let me begin by extending my greetings to you and other members of the National Assembly. It is exactly 8 years since God crossed our path, and must be bold to say that knowing you as a friend has been an interesting journey all the way. As a senior citizen of Nigeria, I feel I owe the younger generation of Nigerians the moral obligation to offer advice and counsel when public institutions are mismanaged. It is more compelling, especially, whenever I see the ship of state derailing a democratic tenets blatantly abused, as in our experience now with your leadership of the National Assembly. This is why I have decided to write this open epistle to you. We all know that democratic governance rests on the pillars of the legislature, whose main responsibility is to enact legislations that would deepen democratic practices and good governance in any country of the world. A corrupt legislature is a bane to the country, while an upright, focused and virtuous legislature is an asset to Nigeria. The entire wheels of democratic governance are propelled and energized by the legislature. Therefore, those who should populate the hallowed chambers ought to be men and women of proven integrity and trustworthy. The demands of morality and integrity on the Parliament, which is the conscience of democratic governance, is very strict. It is no longer in doubt to all discerning minds that your lofty position as the Senate President and Chairman of the National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria places a serious and moral burden on you, which your actions and utterances in the last 3 years have exposed you as very deficient. Nigerians have watched with utter amazement how you have redefined leadership of the legislature in the negative sense. This to me as your friend is very shameful and immoral to say the least, but still not too late. The Senate under your watch has imported despicable autocracy and despotism into parliamentary engagements. And the resultant effects include the dictatorial muzzling of opposition voices of colleagues during plenary and abusing their inalienable right of freedom to hold and express opinions on the floor of the hallowed chambers. Your leadership of the Senate has shown an absolute proclivity to vindictiveness and witch hunting of colleagues who share views opposed to your disposition. Such members are goaded to the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee peopled by your acolytes, who have accepted the loathsome job of serving as your hatchet men. They unduly or unlawfully punish dissenting voices for the audacity of holding an opinion contrary to your thinking. The suspension of Senators Ali Adum and Omo Agege are some of the few examples of your aberrational leadership of the Senate and the National Assembly. You have turned the Red Chambers into a combat theater, protecting the abominable, but despising truth. This is the extent of your moral deficit, which has disqualified you from belonging or even leading an assemblage of honorable men and women. Mr. Senate President, sir, you have consistently failed to pass the integrity and morality test to continue to preside over Nigeria's parliament. Nigerians recall with much sadness your scandalous alleged purchase of the N298 million bulletproof Range Rover sports utility vehicle (SUV) with fake documents and the evasion of customs duties, which was impounded by Nigerian Customs Service (NCS). There is also the issue of your alleged false declaration of assets, a case still hanging at the Code of Conduct Tribunal (CCT), but you are frustrating judgment with frivolous court injunctions. This again testified to the obvious that you still owe the Nigerian people an apology. And your recent alleged shadows in the offer bank robberies which claimed the lives of over 30 Nigerians, including security agents, have cumulatively placed a moral burden on your leadership and disqualify you from holding the noble identity of a Nigerian parliamentarian, much more holding such exalted positions of Senate President and Chairman of the National Assembly. Sir, in my humble opinion, you are barren of every essential ingredient and honor to continue to preside over any parliament anywhere in the world. The abysmal performance of the Senate under your watch, the padding of national budget, or the simmering regime of corruption your leadership has allowed to creep into the Senate, strips you of any qualification to be a member of Nigeria's National Assembly. Nigerians have tolerated your leadership deficit enough, and time has come for you to have a rethink and do the needful. We are tired of your scandalous outings at every point. It is either you are fingered in armed robbery today, or some illicit monies are traced to your account abroad, which matters. The laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria does not approve of any public office holder. My friend Senator, I have no hesitation to say, you have regrettably become an opposite of honor or integrity, both at home and abroad, and a shame to Nigeria, a country President Muhammadu Buhari is spending sleepless nights to reposition and rejuvenate on the path of progress and public morality. We cannot allow you to reverse these gains. Though, the mistake was made right from your home state of Kwara, where the people of Kwara Central Senatorial District failed to see your odd characters, undeserving of leadership patronage, and proceeded to entrust you with their mandate. Even this is now questionable, having listened to some criminals confess openly how they manipulated your elections to give you victories against the people's wish. These negative virtues are innately part of you, and there are no restrictions. You even irresponsibly besmirched and desecrated the elder Olusola Saraki, your own father, by shamefully humbling a man that brought you into this world and even politics by extension. Therefore, at the behest of all men of good conscience and lovers of Nigeria, I am advising you to do the needful. Please, withdraw your membership of the National Assembly by resigning your position. And the time to act appropriately is now. It is the collective desire of all Nigerians to see their country progress. We cannot continue to stomach or tolerate a leadership liability like you anymore. Thank you for the patience of reading this open letter, and may you be guided accordingly. You may permit me to share this with our friends in the diplomatic circle as witnesses to my call for you to do the needful. This is to put everyone on notice should masses decide to emulate your style of doing things by removing you from office in the days ahead. Think your friend would be interested? Share this story using any of the share button below. Down arrow, place your text advert below. Greater than 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 loading. Share your story with us via email, info@247nigerianewsupdate.co. Received news via our WhatsApp. Kindly text 234,701 056 0394 add you. Click here to join us on our YouTube channel for news update. Click here to join us on Twitter for instant news update, at 247NGNEWSUPDATE. Click here to join millions around the globe to read news on our Facebook fan page for instant updates on Instagram. Click here receive instant news update via our BBM broadcast D3EDEFDF.